Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and MF and girls. This is your captain with the name Lloyd James speaking, and I'm here to show you what happened this weekend in the Michigan Ultimate Survivor League. Those aren't the real lyrics, of course, but still, we've edited it slightly to make it more muscle appropriate, muscle themed. We are now in week 13 of the NFL season, which means that this week we had the round of Sweet 16 in the muscle bracket and the round of 64 in the suck bracket. So we're cutting straight to it. These podcasts won't be nearly as long as they used to be, but we're going to go right to it with the fastest minutes. I haven't seen what Muscle says is the game of the week. Probably something in the suck bracket because the muscle bracket games weren't super competitive, honestly. So we're looking right now. Fantasy recaps as we get into our fastest minutes. They won't be as many minutes as before because of the fact that there are fewer games. A lot of teams got eliminated last week from the muscle bracket. A few teams got eliminated from the suck bracket. Here we go. Slowest internet in the business. I think I hit that button. Fantasy recaps. Let's go. Here we go. That's the fastest minutes. Here we go. The muscle game of the week was a good one, it looks like, as Stinky Fingers Golden Kroger comes up 93.98 over BVC. Brad Van Camp 91.71, led by Jahmyr Gibbs, who put up. Oh, sorry, that's Jameson Williams. Sorry, good lord, I need new glasses. Who put up 16.55 points in the week that I didn't start him. Started him last week, and he did nothing, which is funny. So there we go. Stinky Fingers moves on. Now we get to the muscle bracket. This is really loud in here, but we don't care. The energy is unmatched this morning. Vic in a box. Bleeding Blue Bombers was the number one seed. He had 2 buys in a row, potentially 3 buys if he played his cards right. It didn't matter because A.J. Brown in his outdated photo in his Titans jersey, which he hasn't worn in multiple years, but my fantasy league can't get it right. A.J. Brown had a huge game. Unfortunately, the Eagles can't beat anybody. So they lost, but he put up 23 points, 13 for Nico Collins, 17 for Brock Bowers, and one of the best catches you'll see this year, Derrick Henry. All upset of the week. This is the game of the week. 2 prestigious owners, but Bleeding Blue Bombers goes down in round 2. This was a good game. There he is, A.J. Brown in his Titans jersey again. Do you even Swift, bro? That is Ben Hester over Jeremy Orr, who likes to put up a lot of points. 80.66, not a shameful score at this time of year. But do you even Swift, bro? The number 8 seed won his conference, moves on. Thanks primarily to A.J. Brown. Rob Jazerski, better bring your A game. He should have listened to himself. He put up 74 points. Jalen Hurts let everyone down as usual. Travion Henderson let him down. A.J. Brown did not let him down. But who scored on Patriot Thunder? Patrick Mahomes, R.J. Harvey, Nico Collins, Chris Olave, Rashee Rice, and Jason Myers all in double digits. And they had the Rams put up 2 points, and they still dropped 106, led by Patrick Mahomes. Patriot Thunder moves on. Then we got Hitting Rugs doubling up on DeMar Hamlin's booster shot. Probably need a new subscription there, Austin. Unfortunately, your season comes to an end at the hands of Mason Bradley, the number 5 seed. 110 points. These are huge scores for this late in the year, by the way. Of course, the Seattle Seahawks helped that. What a disastrous performance by the Miami Vikings. Hitting Rugs moves on. Will's Wranglers, I thought for sure he had this one in the bag, but Muckers, thanks to R.J. Harvey, Bijan Robinson, Travis Kelce, they all put up big numbers. And they had Lamar Jackson in, who scored .27 points. Craziness to have him score that, but it didn't cost him. The number 2 seed barely moves on. I thought for sure he had someone. Oh, it was a Sunday night game that he had people in. So Muckers moves on. Will's Wrangler season comes to an end. Now, speaking of seasons coming to an end, Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of the highs. They could not get it done. They lose to Cheechki, Nick Harris. I always get him confused. Number 7 seed beats the number 10 seed, sending Cassandra to the cleaners. Andreas Borregales, 13 points. Seahawks defense bailed this guy out, like so many others. The Pylon Pounders with the upset over the bad week for the Provost family. Chop it off and make you stunning brave. Also loses the Provost Dynasty. Both Pat Sr. and Pat Jr. both got the 1 and 3 seed. and both got byes. The week was rough, just like the Detroit Lions. In their bye last year, they both lose, this time at the hands of Manny Flores. 8-3, moving on to the Elite Eight. This is the Sweet 16. And then finally, the Black Hole. Couldn't get it done. Rob Bradley falls to Chad Lige, who makes it into the Elite Eight again. Sorry, not again, but the Elite Eight. I keep thinking it's the Sweet 16, but my weeks are off. We're doing the Sweet 16 right now. Chad Lige was led by Patrick Mahomes, Kermit the Frog here, and CeeDee Lamb. Good job there. Derrick Henry had a good game. Lad McConkey, okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 0 points. You dodged a bullet. That not costing you. We move on to the suck bracket. Cuckoo ain't you, ain't Tyler Robinson. Loses to the Suicide Squad. J-Mac, he was the number 1 seed in this tournament. Wins. Moves on to the round of 32. Yippee-yay. Triple Down Fofo was over get a Heisman, 81-61. $75 million man over Cot Jockeys. Michael Carl's season comes to an end at the hands of Craig Monahan. Then we got Bonnie Monahan losing to Josh Crampton, 89-64. That was a big game. A lot of prestige there. Knuckles in for the win, keeps up the winning streak. Beats Mullen Incorporated, moves into the round of 32. 96-80.75, Ricky Gennari. Derek Gregory didn't put up a lineup, lost to Swine Flu, who essentially wasted a great lineup here, 97 points. It's fine. We'll talk about these guys. Get a load of these guys in the next segment. Hawk 2 over Jack Goff in the end zone. Weinberg falls to Ronnie Tripp. I'm on 1, puts up 105 over Brady's balls, but 89 is a good score for Corey Brewer. Corey Brewer's season comes to an end. Red Rockets beat up on Moose Knuckles who didn't submit a lineup. Password is Taco, put 112 points over someone who didn't pork for Dalton. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Didn't put a lineup in. Louis Diana football team. Where's your integrity, sir? He's a champion. He's a multiple Final Four list. Apparently, he just boycotts the suck bracket. Unacceptable. Donkey Punchers puts up 80 points. And this is Bracy Trudell. 0 points against Freddie vs. Jason. Just shameful. Digger Phelps, Andy Plum loses to Monstars. You should be ashamed of yourself. Not because you lost to Monstars, but you just middle lineup. Football's life over 2 girlies, 1 cup. 42.37 points. Not a great lineup for him, but again, Lamar Jackson put up .27. Low-hanging fruit over Cloacal Kiss. Maddie Bradley joins her dad on the couch next week, but her brother moves on. We talk about that in a second. Ducky on Quack, you are the weakest link. He's getting his wisdom teeth pulled. Apparently putting in a lineup's equivalent of getting his teeth pulled too, because he didn't do it as Pork and Beans, the government subsidy team, puts up 109. Play with Mike Ditka narrowly beats the Double G spot, 86-80.99. Rocky Keeling, 99% luck, 1% heart over Joe Buck yourself. Jordan Craig, who loses. Yay. Aaron Minturn doubles up almost on Fly Eagles Fly. Bad week for Mick DeBow with the Eagles and himself losing. Jason Taylor puts up 126-0 because your boy Chris Melclore did not put a lineup in. No one cares. OJ Eldorado puts up 105 over Tush Pushers. Alex Erickson, whose season comes to an end. A lot of people start AJ Brown. The New Orleans Rock Cucks, as it should call them, because they got taken over by the government. 108 points over to Squadril 0. Way to go, my dad. My son couldn't do much better than my dad. Didn't put a lineup in. Put up 42 points against my cousin in the Seagraves battle here. The Apache Chiefs, moves on. Sewer Bombs could not beat up on Chris Kissel. This is a Kissel on Kissel Crimes matchup as Chris Kissel defeats Craig Kissel and moves on to the next round. Sag Nasty's notch above top notch. No match for Steve Garrity. Puts up 94 over 74. Way to go, Steve. Moves on. All too well. Could Stephanie Bradley beat up You're in Trouble. Government subsidies team who did not win. Now you see me, now you don't. Couldn't beat Super Cyclone Scoob. Let me tell you something. 88-65. Double season submit a lineup. Thanks a lot. That's great. You might like my defense. 92 over 0. DeWyans beats up Aiken for a ship. 91-53. Steel City Sackers had a good game. 103 over Golf and Balls. 69. Sith happens. He finally got a hold of me. He wants to sell the GameCube. Probably because he has no chance of winning $50 now. He needs that scratch because FarmersOnly.com, there's a former champion who didn't cuck himself out, Louis Diana style. He actually put in, and neither did Maddie Bradley or Allen Harvey. These are all people who have won the league before, who were in the suck bracket, and they're not too proud to not submit a lineup. Louis Diana, you should be ashamed of yourself. I would be too if I was a Steelers fan. What an epic collapse. I'm a Lions fan. Borderline, nah. We weren't 4-1, and we're in a hell of a lot harder division than those scrappers. So anyway, way to go. FarmersOnly.com. Keeping the tradition alive of winning. Get a load of these guys. Get a load of these fucking guys, okay? Who are these guys? Let's just talk about it. I'm going to call them out publicly for being pathetic. You have a chance to win $50. Let me tell you something. In today's economy, $50 means something. Jesus. And these clowns didn't even submit a lineup. Double C's, Cody Cole. What's going on there? What's going on there? 0. I mean, you got a lot going on, but whatever. You can submit a lineup. It takes 2 seconds. Who else? Who else? Get a load of these guys. Squadrils. My dad. Shameful. Didn't submit a lineup. He wouldn't have won anyway because he's never scored 108 points in his life. But still, you can't get blanked. You can't get blanked when you're in the freaking playoffs. I don't care if it's a suck bracket. It's still the playoffs. You better believe it. You can't put up 0 points.
Playoffs?
Yeah, right. He doesn't care. Squadrils, too busy worried about the casino or some nonsense. Guess what? You gambling? You gambling? You didn't gamble this week. You lost 100%, just like you probably do with the casino every time. At the end of the day, Vegas always wins. Hanging with Mr. Hernandez. He might be hanging himself. He hung himself this week. He wouldn't have won anyway because Whispering Eyes put the smack down, but still, 0. Chris, Mel Clory, you're better than that. Get a load of these guys. Here, Ducky on Quack, Nick Radecki, my coworker who is obsessed with this league, talked about it fucking nonstop and apparently didn't think enough to submit a lineup this week. I already scolded his ass. Unbelievable to not submit a lineup. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Digger Phelps dug himself into quite a hole there. Didn't submit a lineup, and now you will be scolded here publicly. Bracy Trudell, he's got 17 TVs watching all the fantasy football and all the NFL games at once, but apparently one of them's on a monitor reminding him to submit a lineup in the suck bracket. Ironically, your team's name is Suck It, and you're in the suck bracket, and you didn't submit a lineup. And then, of course, Louis Diana's football team. What the hell? What the hell, bro? You got to have some pride. You can't. Former champions can't give up. Parker Dalton, that's another story. He has no integrity. He has no pedigree like Louis Diana. Parker Dalton has never won a championship in this league. But we love him. But we don't love him this week. And the worst part is, if you look at these zeros, people put up like 100 points. Like 3 different people put up 100s against zeros. Really sad. Moose Knuckles, Keith Dowdy. I got nothing else to say about you, friend. Just submit a lineup. Sticks it in you. Derek Gregory, very disappointed in you as well. You've been a long-time owner in this league. You should know better. It used to be you played for free entry. Now you're playing for $50, man. $50 that you'd get right around Christmas time. I don't know about you, but I think most people could use them. That's it. Get a load of these guys. All those guys I just called out, they are pathetic. Pathetic. Can't submit a lineup. Too proud, too busy, whatever. Look, nobody's busier than I am, I'm pretty sure. And, well, my team didn't need to submit a lineup, but I would have had I been alive. I had to go through and make sure all the people in the muscle bracket submit a lineup, so I was busy. I did it. I went live last week at the fucking Lions game. You kidding me? You can't submit a lineup. Who the hell's this? Cassandra Seagraves. Who's that? Thinking she can text me in the middle of a game, middle of a podcast. All right, let's look at the bracket. The Week 14 preview, by the way, is the Muscle and Suck bracket, by the way. So I'm not sure why it's on here twice, but nevertheless, the All Muscle team has been created. However, not announced. We'll announce that probably next week because we only have 4 games to go over. Playoffs. You better believe it. Jim Morov or Jim Seagraves, whatever you want to call me. Here we go. We are in the Elite 8. And I want to reiterate about the Elite 8 that the winners of this week's game will get a guaranteed cash prize. I honestly don't remember what it was. I think it's $50. It might be 100. I think it's 100 actually. I'm going to have to look real quick. I'm pausing. I'll be back. Yes, indeed. The final four. So whoever wins this week in the muscle bracket will get $100. Guaranteed. Minimum $100. So these could be considered the biggest games of the year. Well, they are the biggest games of the year so far because all these people are playing for $100 this week. We're looking at them right here. Okay, first game on this bracket. The 16 seed Vic in a Box. Josh Griner taking on the number 8 seed Ben Hester. Do you even Swift, bro? That's a big one. However, without question, the game of the week is going to be the game of the week. The number 4 seed versus the number 5 seed. And a matchup of two people who got buys in the first round. James St. Germain taking on Mason Bradley for $100 and a spot in the final four. Huge, huge game. 4 versus 5. You can't go wrong with that. That's as tight as it's going to be this week. I don't even need to look at the rest of the games. There might be more drama in some of these matchups. I doubt it, because I don't think any of these people even know each other at this point, because we have so many people in this league. But here we go. Okay, Scott Mugovich versus Nick Harris, number 2 versus number 7. That's a big game. Because the 2 seed moving on, these guys all won their division, so that's cool. Well, not up here. Vic in a Box is the only one so far mentioned who have not won the division, but that's not all, because down here, you've got the Pylon Pounders, Manny Flores, taking on Show Me Them TDs. Neither of these guys won their division. Both of them got in on record, 14 seed and 22 seed. So both of these guys pulled off upsets as Show Me Them TVs beat up on the Black Hole. And Pylon Pounders sent yet another Provost packing. So 14, Manny Flores versus Chad Lige. Going for $100 there. And, of course, Muckers and Chichki, too. In the suck bracket, we are now in the round of 32. A lot of games here still. But, again, these guys should not. Don't be on Get a Load of These Guys segment next week. People who've made it this far obviously submitted a lineup last week. Some of them submitted a lineup they didn't even have to because these clowns didn't submit a lineup now. That's not to say it can't happen again, because people might not submit a lineup and they'll be on the segment of Get a Load of These Guys next week. By the way, did I ever tell you about I used to work at a sperm bank? It's a true story. I used to work at a sperm bank, but I was fired because every time a person would walk in, I'd say, get a load of this guy. So, yeah, it didn't last long. Well, moving on here. J-Mac taking on Jeff Arbogast here. 5-6 versus 7-4. The government subsidies New Orleans Rock Chucks will be taking on All Too Well. Stephanie Bradley. Super Cyclone, Marcus Towns taking on Your Mother Likes My Defense, Alan Harvey, former champion who submitted a lineup and won. Look at that. DeWyans taking on Steel City Sackers, Gary King versus Dustin Hanson. Matt Farmer versus Jordan Tripp. And FarmersOnly.com versus Tripping on Fofos. Josh Crampton versus Craig Monahan. Can Josh Crampton go back-to-back weeks knocking out Monahans? He could if he wins this week and moves into the Sweet 16 of the Suck bracket. Knuckles in for the win, taking on Swine Flu. That's Ricky Gennari taking on Mike Kaminsky. Hawk Tua, Ronnie Tripp taking on Amon 1, Josh Harris. See, the Tripps and the Harrises are both doing very well this year. They're both still playing. Red Rock, in a battle of people who submitted lineups didn't need to last week, although, you needed to, trust me. But ultimately, it sucked to waste 112 points on a 0. But nevertheless, Red Rockets. Tanner Volmer taking on Password is Taco. Dom Valenti, former champ. By the way, there's another former champ that submitted a lineup. Louis Diana's looking really bad. Did submit a lineup, and all these other guys did. The Donkey Punchers, fresh off their Louis Diana victory. Taking on Monstars Asterisk. That'll always be there because Chaz Jolly named a team that's already been named. And when you go through the history books, you can't get shit confused. Tom Farmer. The Farmer's having a good week, too. Taking on Low Hanging Fruit. Eric Hester. Pork and Beans Government Subsidy taking on Play with Mike Ditka. Tony Cromwell. Golden Kroger versus Rocky Keeling. I guess that's a matchup. Jason Taylor taking on Aaron Minturn here. Whispering Eyes taking on Death by a Thousand Punch. OJ Eldorado taking on the Apache Chiefs. There's some pedigree there. That's a big game. That's definitely the suck bracket game of the week, but no music necessary. And then finally, the surviving Kissel brother / father son. I always forget, man. Hesters and Kissels. I don't remember how they're related. I'm sorry. I've got some kind of fucking mental block preventing that from happening. Taking on Garrity's Gigolos. There you have it. That's your bracket. Next week, the Final Four edition, we will talk about the All Muscle team as well as possibly present. By the way, I did the math here, and actually I don't think the numbers add up. I think I'm paying too much out, but whatever, it's fine. Well, we're not. The numbers are the numbers. Next year we'll adjust because we've never given out $100 to the fan to the. Well, we gave out more. We're giving out more to the second place team. I think this year is what the problem is, but oh well. Here we go. Have a great week, everybody. And don't forget to submit your lineups, everybody who needs to. And if you didn't submit your lineup this week and you should have, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. I don't think I have the shame thing, but